Alrighty, we got my boy Lamont Holt. We may or may not have played skate against each other, and he absolutely crushed me. But long-term skate YouTuber, he actually posted this video where I really enjoyed the title. How the skate industry became the YouTubers they hated. Banging title. The thumbnail was not so good, but I love the title. I commented on it. Banger title I will watch later. The later has arrived. So now I would love to watch it. 17 minutes. Let's see if we get to the point. But I think this is a very interesting topic and obviously something that affects me a lot. So I feel like I'll have a lot of takes. Let's see.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I never thought I would see the day. It's crazy that I'm even making a video about this. I never thought I would see the day that what the skate industry has become. The skate industry has become what they've always seemed to hate. And that's
like, look at this skate park, just by the way. It is literally just one square, one ledge, like no run up. Like, what the hell?
YouTube. That's social media. That's being an influencer. The skate industry is now, at least the majority of it, is now trying or doing YouTube. And you guys don't understand how crazy that is to me as I'll say OG, a veteran to being a skate YouTuber, because we were one of the first people to start doing it. And to see how all these core industry pros, at least a good handful, are doing it now, and it's more acceptable and kind of like mandatory to do it, it's crazy to me. So I wanted to make a video about that. And in this video, I'm gonna talk about how they used to put us through a lot of bullshit, I would say, and treat us like we were circus animals and should not be a part of the industry, and how they used to kind of like make us feel or separate us from the skate world. I'm gonna use me as a perfect example though, as one of them, because I was doing the...
But what I'll say is, like, I never really I was late to the game in YouTube influencer. Even when I joined Braille, I was really super late to the game. So, like, I never really got as much hate as these guys did in the OG time, like the Garrett Jenner, John Hill, Lamont Holt, even Luis Mora and stuff. They would get, like, sort of, like, bullied kind of and, like, ostracized from the industry. I never really felt that, but one big change that I did feel is when Instagram first started to make videos and stuff, all the skaters go, that's so lame, that's so whack, blah, 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 this, that, filming yourself is stupid. All this shit. And then it just so quickly was like, oh, you have to have an Instagram. Everyone has an Instagram. Every brand has an Instagram. We all care about Instagram. To see that shift, ever since then, I'm like, all right, I'm never listening to any of the people that say this shit. If something new comes and everyone's hating on it, I'm just, no way I'm listening to them. I'm going to have an open mind. And like, when I first saw that, I really like changed my perspective a little bit. So this is kind of the same, but it took a lot longer. Is they were bullying these guys, they were ostracizing them, and now they say like, oh shit, like, you were actually onto something. Now I got to do it. And they're like a million years too late. It kind of like reeks of desperation a little bit too.
YouTube stuff, but I was also sponsored by, I guess you would say, some core.
So let's hear his story.
Some core companies, and still doing the core requirements like street parts and stuff. But it was a battle. So I was in both worlds. We'll speak on that, and we're going to speak about other YouTubers and what they went through on it. And then the skaters that were in the core industry, the ones that are doing it now. And the first thing I want to start off with is, am I happy about this? That these pro skaters or the skate industry is accepting YouTube now and doing YouTube now when they used to put us through a lot of bullshit? And first of all, I'm going to say, I am very excited about it. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to keep this part short, but the reason is...
A little edit.
I'm keeping it short because I feel like the other things I mentioned that I'm going to talk about is way more important than this. But I am happy about it because of obvious reasons. It's going to bring skateboarding, it's going to put skateboarding out to more of a reach, because they're using platforms like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever's out there, that's social media that they used to hate, to push the thing we all love, which is skateboarding. And I used to hate that they look down upon people doing YouTube and trying to push what we love. And obviously we
he talks right black. What does that mean? Isn't he black? I don't understand that. But what's interesting, I had a good point, is it's like if you like a band before they get popular and you really love this one song and you love it, then it gets popular and then everyone else loves it, you're kind of like torn. You're like, hey, this thing that I love, now everyone loves. That's great. But then you're also kind of like, I had it first. Like, I know it. It's mine. So, like, that's kind of like what he's saying. But I think, of course, you should be happy, I guess. It's just like, it's kind of like an interesting, it's like, wow, I never thought it would go this way kind of feeling. But it's like, yeah, you want to come to YouTube? All right, cool.
These skits are super personality type of content, but it would get it to a bigger reach. And it would make other people start skating, which would build the community of skating. It's to me, I was like, y'all niggas want to die? Y'all niggas want to die like the rollerblade companies? Like, what the fuck? And I'm like, y'all go let the scooter companies take over. I don't know too much about the scooter industry, but I see a lot of scooter dudes doing the fucking YouTube, and I don't think they were tripping on them, and there was a lot of them popping from that. All right, let's speak about how they used to blacklist us from the skate industry. They used to make us feel like circus animals, where we were freaks to the skate world. That's how I would put it. And before I say that real quick, I am going to mention the pro skaters, the industry skaters that are doing it now that I'm surprised that's doing it. And again, I'm not mad at them. You know, I can't vouch for them specifically on some of them that they were really thinking this mindset, but I'm sure they were, because there was a lot of things they were putting us through. Not them specifically, just the companies and stuff like that. But let's talk about it. The way they would, I hope I'm saying this word right. Y'all know I'll be fucking up on words. Exile us or whatever. Just keep us away from the industry. And I kind of get it to a certain extent, but the way, like, how can I say this? And again, this is just raw speaking. Y'all just bear with me. I'm just, it's not scripted. I'm just talking off the dome. Like, what didn't make sense to me was, I'm gonna mainly use me as an example for this whole series of talking. I was sponsored by Element. I was sponsored by Primitive Apparel when it was apparel at the time. I was like Rep Flow for Converse, and some other things like that. And I had a bunch of street parts out. I even had a street part with Primitive for Pain is Beauty. So, and that's a legit video.
Pain is beauty. Wow.
I remember Element sat me down, and I spoke about this in a podcast that's coming up. It's just one of the small things I spoke about in that podcast. We really go into depth that I'm gonna shout out soon. But I remember Element sat me down, and they were like, let me change my arm real quick. My bad, I holding my phone up and my arm's just getting tired. But they told me one day, I was on Element for a minute, and they told me, they sat me down, they were like, I was flow for them, they were like, hey, we're gonna have a meeting with you, come to the office. I come to the office, or I think I was already picking up some boards, and they told me to just come in the office and talk to them. So they sat me down. It's the team manager in there, the president of Element Camp, who, great dude, got me on Element Flow, and a few other people in there. I don't think the owner of Primitive Element at the time was in there, but anyways, we was up in there, and I'm thinking they gonna turn me amp. So it was the opposite of that. They were like, hey, if you want to move forward with the team, you're going to have to stop doing a couple things. And they said, one, stop doing the music. And what bothered me with the music was, I understand, like, oh, this is a skate company. What are you doing music? What bothered me with the music was, I'm like, one of your pro skaters, Evan Smith, is in a whole-ass rock band. I'm just doing hip-hop. What's the situation with that? But that's not what this video is about. So they said that, and they told me to stop doing YouTube. And I'm like, y'all told me I need to get
I feel like a rule of thumb in general is like, if any company or friend or person or something says like, hey, if you want this, you gotta stop this. I mean, like, obviously it's not good to just have like such a general statement, but if they ever say something like that, it's like huge red flag. Like, oh my god, especially if it's good. Like, this is what he's about to say. He's like, I thought you want me to rep your brand, and I'm like trying to do that, and you want me to stop? Like, what the hell? Has that ever happened to me? No, honestly, like, I had a bunch of different sponsors in my time, and like I would have core company, they're all core companies really. And I would have core companies, and then I started doing TikTok, and I started doing cringy bullshit on TikTok. And I was kind of waiting for them to say, like, yo, you gotta stop this, Ricky. This is way too much. But no one ever did. No one ever really said to me, like, don't do this. Even when I got the job at Braille, no company was like, that's bad. We gonna break up with you. It was like, yeah, hell yeah, sick. Like, that's cool. So I never really had a moment like that. If I had a moment like that, oh man, that's so devastating that he's on Element. He probably really loved Element too this whole time. Finally gets sponsored by them, thinks that he's gonna get to the next level, and they hit him with that. I would be so bummed. I would probably I would maybe even quit the thing after that. I'd be like, what the hell?
Following, I got to get known, and YouTube is the way to go. So I was always on Nigel Alexander's channel. He's one of the OG skate YouTubers. He was filming all the skaters and doing the YouTubey stuff. And just, you know, he was doing tricks on his channel, getting popular. He's the one who got me all these followers. It's jump-started my career. So shout out him. So they told me I need to stop doing YouTube. And it didn't make sense to me. And it was like,
yeah,
especially the skits, because I just started my channel and I started doing skits. I was one of the first.
I guess, to be fair, he was doing kind of cringy stuff. We should watch some of them. They're so funny though. They're like, he's like the skate pill. What's that movie where it activates your brain when you take the thing? Limitless. He made like skate version of Limitless. Fucking hilarious. Like all the shit what he was doing was so good. Like he's a funny guy. And it's like, yeah, it's a little bit cringe or whatever. I saw a funny graphic. Let me see if I can get it. This reminds me of this. The biggest success habit for kids is being willing to be cringe, not cool. You have an idea and you want the results, and being cool is like preventing you from doing it. Being cringe is the way to do it. What I would always say is that, like, as a man, you know, my experience as a man, a boy, whatever. If you're in high school and you say, I'm learning to sing, I want to be a singer, I'm trying to sing, and you sing shit and you're like progressing and learning, wackest thing you could ever do. Everyone's going to bully you, like whatever. But if you're in high school and you're already good at singing, then, oh, that guy's a singer. Oh, he's so cool. But the act of like actually trying to improve, lamest thing you could ever do. So like I super relate to this, is that like being cringe is just this key to unlocking anything. And that's why I never cared about being cringe. I'll do super cringe stuff all the time and just be willing to like, you know, be vulnerable or whatever. And so like I can extremely relate to his like sentiment here.
People on YouTube as a skateboarder doing skits. I did a skit where I ollied off a curve and had everybody freaking out, picking me up and giving me a trophy and stuff like that, just over exaggerating the smallest things. So they told me to stop doing that. And I was like confused. And I was like, okay. And then they used Manny Santiago as an example too. And Manny Santiago is a good dude. I've always known him for a long time. But they used him as an example of, don't brand yourself like him. And he was self-branding himself. And, you know, getting sponsors like Echo Unlimited or whatever, that was paying him some motherfucking money. And it was like, don't do stuff like that. Don't self-promote yourself like he does and things like that.
That's
so
crazy
like,
that they actually say that.
You don't want me to be on YouTube where I'm posting my own content, where I'm using your product and getting a fan base, and you don't want me to self-promote myself. And y'all not doing anything for me. It's not like they were like, oh, you're gonna be on the barracks, you're gonna do that, which I did on my own too, because I built a name with YouTube.
What's interesting too is that, like, you know, he's young when this is happening, but like the skate companies, like it's literally telling him, hey, don't do this, right? They're not paying him. All they're giving him is free boards. Free board, like, is free board worth selling your soul? Like, the amount of shit that skaters go through to get free trucks, free wheels, free board, it's like, fuck. It's not worth it.
They didn't do any of that, but we had to figure it out ourselves. But you couldn't do YouTube. Didn't make sense to me. So, the reason why I'm telling you that is, like, they were that strict. And I even accepted it. I was like, oh, you know what? There's just two sides to life with the skate stuff. The course side or YouTube. I guess I'm not really on the course side, but I still try to push through and do both, right? I remember not being on Element anymore eventually, and I don't have no bad blood with them or whatever, it just is what it is. But I remember going hard and feeling some type of way on a street park and doing my best skating ever, which was my 2014 street park. And I used that as a sponsor me. And what I noticed is either I was connected with somebody from a lot of different board companies where I could give them my sponsor me to the right person, or somebody I knew was. And I gave it to almost every board company to check out. And there was just this weird energy of not trying to put me on, if that makes sense.
How much swag is worth your soul? This is the thing though, is they say, hey, don't do YouTube. Then the next guy will say, hey, wear this brand. Hey, do this thing. you're just always whittling away, and it's always forever changing. So if you try to be like pleasing other people by doing what other people think you should do, is you'll never please them all, you know? So that's why you have to like look within and try to please yourself and do what you think is right. But that's the hardest age to do that, is when you're kind of like a teenager, you're like coming into yourself or whatever. That's where it's really the test of like, are you going to let these external people influence you because you think maybe I am like that, maybe I do want to do that. Whereas like when you get a bit older, I feel like you become more comfortable with yourself and you kind of have like a better sort of like compass of what you feel like you should do.
Because of the whole, and I feel like it's because of the whole being on YouTube and being a skate YouTuber and stuff like that. It just was like a very obvious reason. They would just give me weird ass excuses like the team's too full. And then next week I'm hearing this other dude just got on it that has no influence, that's probably just as good as me or a little weaker skill wise and things like that. And yeah, we could say, oh, style counts, they probably want to style this and that. Nah, because nowadays they're sponsoring YouTubers. And you might be like, Lamont, you're bitter, you're salty.
I don't think he's bitter
right now.
I think he's just telling the story.
You're just mad because they didn't accept you. Hell yeah, I'm pissed off. I'm upset.
Okay.
Because now I'm seeing the people they told me to be like trying to be like us. And I'm not saying they're looking up to us or anything like that, but trying to be like us, meaning we put a lot of hard work into this YouTube stuff. It's more than just posting. It takes a lot to learn how to edit good. It takes a lot to get to that personality. And you know, that doesn't just happen out of nowhere. You're not just, you can naturally have personality, but it still grows. It takes years for that. And just figuring out the concepts and trial and error, blood and tears, whatever the fuck the saying is, of going through the struggles of trying to build a YouTube channel and a presence on social media and keep your fans entertained. So y'all telling me to be like these motherfuckers. And again, I don't have nothing against them personally. But then, now these motherfuckers is trying to do what we was already doing, and that's YouTube. And we're gonna speak on those people right now. And again, like I said, I'm hyped that I'm seeing this. I would love to collab with them one day or whatever on YouTube and just skate around with them. We want to build a community even more. But it's just crazy to see like Miles Silva doing YouTube right now. And again, a lot of these people probably aren't as consistent as they could be, but I see they're posting and doing vlogs.
This is the thing. You want something in life, you can't half-heart it. You like half-heartedly say, yeah, I'll run a channel a little bit. It's not gonna work. I feel like pro skater as well is that usually their mindset is like not quite right. I guess because they just think, I mean, it's not good to generalize, but I feel like in general they think I'm good at skating and that will give me the big edge on what these YouTube fools are doing. When it's like it's almost like the opposite. But we gotta see it.
That's crazy to see. P-Rod. P-Rod is a weird one to speak on because
P-Rod's a little
was
different.
Kind of always on people's YouTube channels, but he kind of had his own, and he was always like the GOAT, so he could do anything. But now he's super in on doing YouTube. Who else? I seen Cater. Cater's a crazy one for me to see do YouTube.
No way.
He had a couple vlogs out. I don't know how consistent he's trying to do. Maybe once a month or something. The Dirt.
Oh shit, he is. But see, this is the thing. 3 vids. Let's see one of them get 20 vids. They never, ever, ever do. To be fair, only 1 month ago. But like, wow, he's really doing it? Should we watch these later? Should we review them?
Turn Brothers. I didn't know much about them until they started doing YouTube. But what's crazy to me about them is they're sponsored by Zero or Pro for Zero or whatever. And I know for a fact, at least back then, that company was not fucking with YouTubers. And I could be wrong, but Zero does not seem like the company. If Element was talking like that, Zero had to be talking like that. But now they're doing it. And granted, they're doing it, to me, they're doing it the best way that a skateboarder can do it. They're doing it awesome. It's like a TV show. They even got Bam Margera popping in it like crazy. Who else?
Yeah, so he's talking about Derm Bros. Derm Bros are doing it right. Derm Bros are absolutely crushing it. But I would say they YouTubified way more than any other skate YouTubers. That's why they're kind of the best right now. Is because they YouTubified skateboarding, really. Like, it's not easy to do that.
Tom Astor. Now with Tom Astor, back in the day, I don't know if he remembers, but when I was really doing YouTube when I was younger, him and Felipe Gustavo were at the Green Ledges. I used to skate there a lot. And I asked both of them. I was like, hey, I wasn't scared to ask people shit, but I was a little nervous. I was like, hey, you guys down to do a clip for my video I'm doing right now? thinking they might say no, but I was like, why not? Let me try to get some popular skaters up in there. They said yeah, and they went in. They did some bangers, and I always remember that. I was like, y'all respect Felipe Gustavo and Tom Aston, because usually other skaters, core industry skaters, would be like, nah, I'm good, or have some excuse, because they're worried about how the industry would look at them.
But those days are over now.
Video, especially one that's
Tom Aston seems like a nice guy. So I guess I hung out with him a tiny bit.
Tom Aston's doing it now. When I saw that, he's probably one of the most hyped. I would consider him a core skater in the industry for sure. He's one of the most that I got hyped on doing the YouTube stuff. I'm like, yeah. And this motherfucker,
because he fully embraced it, and he was streaming, playing games and stuff, so he kind of like knew the vibe, and he fully embraced it. He didn't just make this. He didn't like make these kind of like, I don't want to say pretentious or whatever, but it's like, keep it moving, Monday mutton, be in a minute. Like, this is not embracing YouTube. Like, this is trying to do it from the cool guy point of view. This brings me back to the graphic of the cool, being cool versus cringe. This is not cringe. Like, this is trying to be cool, you know? And it's like, yeah, maybe you can make it work. You're good enough and powerful enough. But it's like, I don't know. I think being cringe, aka like vulnerable and actually trying and like actually putting in the work is like the way to do it. And I think that's what Tom did.
Consistent, doing crazy tricks, and he knows how to do it right. Like, I feel like he was meant for that shit. He should have did that shit earlier, but better late than never. And I'm hyped on that one. Who else? People like Nigel Houston, and again,
Nigel's
like
different
the Kobe of skateboarding, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But it's crazy how Element was telling me to stop doing YouTube, and Nigel's doing YouTube like crazy now. Like, got it. Anyways, him, Moose. Now, Moose is doing it.
Moose is doing it good.
I'm glad Moose is doing it, because I know he went through some crazy shit with the skate industry. So I'm glad he's doing it now, and he gets to see that, you know, you can do it yourself, make it happen, and fuck these niggas that's telling you otherwise, that doesn't have no love for you. So I'm glad he's doing that. Manny Santiago, he's always been kind of doing YouTube, but he was
him and Garrett Jenner used to
I remember telling him like,
align back in the day,
and now he's really doing it. So I'm really hyped on him doing it too. But and Manny's like how I feel about myself a little bit, but just more in a higher level. He was in the skate world and also doing the influencer stuff too, and battling both. And now he's like hosting Street League, being in Street League, doing shit like that. This nigga killing it. And he never stopped doing that. And they were telling me to stop doing what he's doing. Yeah. It can make sense. And one other one I want to bring up too is Keen Ramps. Now I know that seems random, but it's still crazy to me that a ramp company's the foundation of skateboarding, the people that make the skate things are doing it. It makes sense. It's amazing.
Their content is pretty good. Back in the day,
I would never thought they would have been doing YouTube, if that makes sense. It's just crazy to me, y'all. And like, they used to use Revive, Braille as an example.
Braille mentioned
like, don't be
what
like
not
that.
To do. Yeah.
I remember there's this story, and I could be getting it wrong if any of you guys know about it. I forgot what company, maybe it was Thrasher, I don't know what it was. It was like a whole premiere or meeting, and they put a picture of like Revive on a projector or something, and everybody started booing, apparently, allegedly. This is what I heard from a few people. And the dude was like, what are they doing that we're not doing? And this was a while ago, and they were like, they told everybody and they shut everybody up. They were like, they're doing the YouTube stuff. They're doing the social media stuff. They're selling out more.
That's the thing, is they'll hate on it and then they'll go home and be like, I want to be like that. Why? Like, how did they do it? What happened? That's so funny. I wonder who told him that.
Than everybody. Revive was selling more boards than anybody off of just YouTube. And them niggas aren't good at all at skateboarding. But they
Savage. But yeah, I mean, I feel what he's saying.
Skateboarding look fun. And when I say they ain't good at all skateboarding compared to Thrasher and shit, them niggas is weak. And
I don't know. I guess who you're calling Revive. If you call Jason Puck, John Hill, Johnny Geiger as part of it, I think they're like competitive. They're like in the realm of competitive with top pros, you know? Yeah, of course the top pro is better, but they're like, you know, they're like, I guess competitive is what I use.
Thrasher is busting a motherfucking ass. And they're selling more boards than you. That's crazy. So that's just amazing. And then with Braille, I know there's a whole lot of bullshit happening with Braille or whatever, sadly. But let's just not think about that bullshit and let's talk about the past.
Yes, let's lock in.
What confused me about Braille is these niggas are teaching people how to skate. They brought so many people into this world.
Yeah, this I never understood.
Into skateboarding, Nigel, Uzi, Ricky, all of them, everybody that was in that motherfucker, just by them making those videos and teaching people how to skate, brought little kids into it, which keeps skateboarding alive. And niggas is mad because they post it on YouTube. That being said, I'm not gonna...
Braille literally brought so many people into skating, and like Thrasher and Barracks and every other company, Baker, whatever, they all need the like family friendly welcome into skating. Oh, you want to begin? Come on in. I'll show you a board. I'll teach you what a truck is. I'll show you how to grip a board. I'll teach you how to ollie. Someone has to do that. Look who it's now. Mr. 1260. Mr. 1260 himself has taken on that role. It's like there's always a place for that to exist. I don't know why that it got so hate. It's like, yo, this is not for the core skater. This is for the beginner, for the entry level. Like, just relax. Like, it's not that serious. It's just a video. So I agree with that. I never really understood that it was so serious. It's like the audience can be different. Yo, what up, Darren? How we doing?
Keep yapping y'all ears off or whatever. I'm gonna actually go to a skate park and skate, but that's gonna be in a video after this. If y'all got anything from this video, just do what you want to do. There might be something else that's coming up in the future that we don't know about, that YouTubers might think down on, or whatever, the skate industry still might think down on. And if you have that gut feeling and you're benefiting off of it and you're good at it, do it. Don't listen to what anybody else is saying. Do what's best for you and be your own person and go crazy. And always respect people. You feel me? Always do that. Because one thing that I hated is there was YouTubers who didn't respect people, and there was a lot of people in the skate industry who didn't respect people. Don't be one of them. Comment below too who's doing YouTube right now that was, you know, a pro skater or in the skate industry or whatever, and show them some love in the comments. 111, I appreciate y'all. Subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.
111. Whoops.
Skating.
That was really cool. Shout out to Lamont. Let me know, guys, if you want me to watch some of his old skits. They're so funny. I gotta watch the skate pill. But he had some really funny back in the kind of like peak, really early YouTube, where the time period he's talking about where they told him not to. But yeah, I agree with everything they're saying. It's very interesting. The same thing too. People like to hate for no reason. I don't think it is no reason. I feel like the hate is kind of like consistent in the thinking, in the like thought process. But I think from the outside looking in, and kind of like same as Lamont's point of view, that it doesn't make sense. It's like the hate is there, but it doesn't make sense. So I always think it's like an interesting thing to talk about and explore. But yeah, I don't know. It's important to think too, is like skating is not about making money, and skating is not a really... I don't think skating is about being the best either. When I was a kid, I would have thought otherwise. But like as I've come into my age, skating is not about making money or being the best. It's just literally just expressing yourself. I feel like that's the most important thing. It's like self-improvement, expressive, like having fun, getting exercise. I think that's what skating is about, not like, can I land hardest trick? Can I film best video part? Can I make most money? Like, I don't think they're really relevant in skating, to be honest. But yeah, sick video.